Getting to Know You, a weekly series highlighting the teachers and staff of the Salem School District. And now your host, Assistant Superintendent of Salem Schools, Maura Palmer.
Thank you. Welcome to Getting to Know You, this week's edition. I am here with Kerri Quigley. Kerri is a teacher at Soule School. So welcome, Kerri. Thank you for being here today.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Why don't you tell us about, to get started, tell us about your time in Salem. So how long have you been working in the district and what grade do you teach and that sort of thing?
Sure. So I've actually only been a teacher here for 2 years. This is my second year. Last year I taught half-day kindergarten over at Soule, and then I made the jump to third grade. And that has been a huge transition, but I love it. And I honestly couldn't say which one I love more because they both are uniquely different and just an amazing experience. But actually, before being a teacher here in Salem, I came here as a student. My family moved to Salem when I was in 5th grade, and my brother and I started over at North Salem. So it's kind of funny to see the teachers that I had and who were in my school as an elementary student. Now I work alongside them and I'm learning from them, so that's been quite the experience.
So who is a teacher that you're, who is somebody that you remember from your time as a student that you work alongside now?
So what's funny is I actually had Mrs. Gilliland, Sherry Gilliland,
oh, no kidding,
as a 5th grade student. She was my teacher, and now she's a 3rd grade teacher. And so we are in the same grade level cohort, which is so funny to see her now.
Right.
We work together. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So what year did you graduate from Salem High?
I graduated in 2012 before they made all these wonderful renovations, and I couldn't find the room today, and one of the teachers I ran into said, oh yeah, it's in the same location, and I couldn't even picture where that was in the building.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
It is. It looks like something out of a movie. It's
right.
Gorgeous.
Is this the first time you've been able to be over here to see the changes?
To explore, yes. I've only ever gone in over by the auditorium, which is in the same spot.
For a meeting or yeah. You'll have to come over for a tour sometime.
I would love to.
Mrs. Collier loves to give tours. Can you talk a little bit about, you mentioned that you taught half-day kindergarten, then you moved to third. So what do you think are the biggest differences between a kindergarten student and a 3rd grade student?
Well, what's interesting is I find a lot of similarities between the two because both in kindergarten and 3rd grade there's so much new material that they're learning. So in kindergarten, school is brand new. The whole experience is new. But when it comes to 3rd grade, it's just a higher level of thinking. There's so many new concepts, multiplication, division, fractions, just to go on the math route because that's what we're spending so much time on right now. So that is very similar. Where it's different, though, is kindergarten students are so naturally curious, and sometimes I feel like I'm pulling that from my 3rd graders. They still have it, but they're also, they're just so much more social. And they're so much more their personalities are so much more developed.
Right.
But that also makes it fun too. It really does. I loved spending time with those kindergartners, and they are just so fun. They say the funniest things. Everything is exciting to them. And 3rd graders are almost the same, but now they just have so much more to offer. And their personalities are they're so unique. And I love to see them growing.
And so you graduated from UNH, correct?
I did, yes.
And so what grade did you do your internship?
So I did my internship actually in full-day kindergarten in Manchester.
Okay.
Yep, so that was different, transitioning from being in a full-day program to being in the half-day. I had to really learn how to get everything done in half the time and to still provide them with the best experience that they could, with so many of my students last year it being their first school experience.
Right. And we're hoping to offer a full day across the board next year, so
that's very exciting.
It's very exciting for the school district. Big changes, exciting changes.
Absolutely.
So where do you live now?
Now I live in Durham.
Oh, okay. Did you stay there after graduation?
So no, actually, my now husband and I have kind of bopped around a little bit, but he took a job at UNH, and he's the assistant farm manager for the farms up there, and so we live there because it's close for him.
Okay. Yeah. And so how is that commute?
Long.
It's a long commute from Durham.
However, it does provide me a lot of time to reflect on my day.
Sure.
I can really get all my thinking done, and I also, some people say that they do their best thinking in the shower. I do my best thinking in the car because I'm spending so much time driving.
Sure. Yeah.
And it does give me a lot of time to listen to podcasts, and I find that I've really, looked to see where I could continue to personally develop and also learn more about education and stay up to date on new practices.
That's
and
wonderful.
things like
That's a
that.
great use of your time.
Yeah.
So you got married last, I want to say spring, right? Was it
Yeah,
April?
In April, yeah.
April, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And so did you move to Durham right after that, or had you already been there?
Before, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've been since teaching here in Salem.
Okay.
We've been
Been
living
here right
there.
along.
Yeah.
Does your family still live in Salem?
They actually just moved to right outside.
Okay.
Right outside of Salem.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your brother is also a Salem High
He
graduate?
is a Salem
Yeah.
High graduate, yeah.
And is he in the area as well?
He is, yep. And he's doing electrical engineering over at NECO, and he's loving it, yeah.
Great. So you're both doing very well.
Yes.
So what do you like to do in your spare time outside of teaching?
In my spare time, I really like to hike. My husband and I love to hike. We've been kind of exploring more of the North Conway area in the past little while, and it's just all seasons of the year. It's gorgeous up there. I also like to run, and I do like to knit.
That's great.
I do, yeah.
That's great.
It's always sounds funny when I say it, but that was something my grandmother taught me, and
Mhm.
it is something I like to do. It's very
You should-
relaxing.
yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's great.
Yeah.
So in your classroom, what are you most proud of?
That's a really hard question because there's a lot of things that I'm proud of. I think one of the biggest things is how my students have really taken on our community values, and at this point in the year, now it's January, it's been almost half a year, you can see it showing. And you can see that, like, we don't have, I wouldn't say that they're rules, we don't call them rules in our classroom, they're just values and things that we do to maximize our learning. And to hear them talk to each other and say, hey, it's time to learn, like, stop talking like it's time, and to hear them helping each other, that's just, like, huge. That's huge, and I know that that will help them later on down the road too. They're developing those skills so they can be problem solvers and critical thinkers. And the academics are great and they're doing fabulous, but those personal skills, it's just so great to see them. It shows how they'll impact their communities later on too.
Sure,
When
for
they
sure.
grow up.
So what is it that you enjoy about teaching in Salem?
The number one thing that I enjoy is the staff and the support that I have received as a second-year teacher. Like, there are absolutely days where I go home and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on? But I can always, there is somebody in the building, even across the district, that I can turn to, and they offer guidance, support, and I'm speechless just even thinking about it, and the support that they give me, because I wouldn't be as confident of a teacher if it weren't for them.
So even making the transition from kindergarten teacher to third grade teacher, you feel like you had good support to learn the curriculum? I know you had just learned curriculum for kindergarten and now making the transition to third. There was support there for you?
There was both. So I have ended up on 2 amazing teams. Last year was a little bit different because my partner teacher taught full day.
Right.
But she was also my mentor and my coach, and she still is now. We still joke about, and we're buddy classes too, so it's great to go back and work with her. Christine Augusta,
wonderful.
she is,
Right.
she's wonderful. And now my third grade team that I work with, Mrs. Jasperson and Mrs. Kuklo, I don't know why I said Mrs. They have helped me to understand the curriculum and to know where, like, this is where we're going with it, and this is what the students should be doing, because my expectation of work from the students, it's so vastly different. I'm not
Sure.
always 100% sure what to expect and how much that they should be doing. And they, even beyond that, you know, we have every staff member in the building feels like a partner to me. They feel like somebody that I could turn to if I needed assistance or needed advice.
Very nice community there, for
Yes.
sure. So how do you hope your students will remember you?
I hope that they will remember how much I care about them, and I hope that they remember how much I've tried to tailor our learning to meet their needs and their interests. I really work hard to find loopholes in the curriculum and areas where I can extend so that everybody has access to it, and so that they're interested and engaged, and they feel like they have a piece and ownership over that learning. And I hope that even if it's just they remember that we made applesauce and they don't remember the shared writing after, just to have them remember those experiences that we're having, I hope that that's what they hang on to.
That's great. That's wonderful. All right. Well, thank you very much, Kerri. It was a pleasure chatting with you today.
Thank you. It was wonderful being here.
Thank you all very much, and we'll see you at the next episode.
This has been a Salem School District Media Services presentation. Watch this and all SSD media programs anytime on any device at ssdtv6.com. For Salem School District Television, I'm Marty McHugh.